Hey guys, it's Kevin with Mix Coach. It's time for another episode of the Mix Coach Minute. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the psychology of mixing. One of my favorite authors, his name is Daniel Ariely, and he's written a couple of books that I've loved. One is called Predictably Irrational, and the other one's called The Upside of Irrationality. I believe I got those names right, but anyway, he's a genius author, and I've learned a lot from him. And although he talks about psychology and human nature more than anything, I took one of his concepts and I want to apply it today to mixing. It's called the IKEA effect, and how the IKEA effect can really, well, let me explain to you what the IKEA effect is. There's a store. The closest one to me is in Atlanta. I'm really hoping that they build one in Nashville, but the closest one's in Atlanta. But the thing about the store is that you walk through this store and there's really cool stuff. It's a Swedish company and they just build this really edgy modern stuff. I think Joe Gilder even had a rack mount that he built from IKEA. But you walk through the store and and what I do is I go through there and I realize that's 100 square feet apartment. And I could see myself living in there because it's got everything, because everything is just so compact and sleek and well designed. But when you get to the end of you take your card and you mark all the stuff that you want, and then when you get to the end, after you pass the section with the meatballs and stuff where you can eat and things like that, one of my favorite pastimes, you go downstairs and there is a warehouse environment where you just go through your list and you go to the shelves. And the thing about it is, like, you might have seen this huge shelving unit in the store upstairs, but when you see the box is about that big. Well, I'm exaggerating a little bit. The box is bigger than that, but the thing about the IKEA effect is that they actually build into their sales technique the fact that you're going to put this thing together yourself. And then when you put something together, you feel like it looks more beautiful and that you are more proud of it than anybody else will. And it endears you to that piece of furniture because you built it. It's also called the origami effect, where Daniel Ariely did an experiment where he actually gave directions on how to do origami, and everybody that did the origami felt like theirs was more beautiful than anybody else's. IKEA effect says, pretty much that when you build a piece of their furniture, matter of fact, I've got a shelf. I don't know if you can see it in the background, but I've got a shelf back there that I built myself, and I'm pretty proud of it because it's a big shelf, and I put it together. One other experiment that they did was back in the 50s, I think. Betty Crocker actually experimented with their cake mixes, and they got the cake mixes down to where all you would have to do is add water to it, and then they noticed that their sales dropped. And upon further investigation, they figured out that housewives that were putting the cake mixes together wanted to have more ownership of the cake mix than just adding water. So they took out the milk and they took out the eggs. So now even when you go today and you go and buy a Betty Crocker cake mix, you have to add eggs and I think oil and maybe milk or something like that. So that's just enough to make the people who are making the cakes feel good about their cake, that they can say with pride that I baked this cake. Okay, so now you're wondering, what in the world does this have to do with mixing? And here's the point. When you are mixing in an island all into yourself, you don't have a client, or maybe you're mixing for yourself, something you've mixed, or you're just mixing. You will feel, the IKEA effect will take control of your mix, and you will feel more proud of that mix than you should, more than likely. So sometimes your mix is not as good as you think it is, and I want to tell you a way to counteract that. You have to get in an environment of people who know what mixing is and how important it is for certain things to be, like, your snare drum's out of phase with the overheads, or your kick drum's out of phase with the overheads, or your bass is ahead of the grid or ahead of the kick drum by 30 milliseconds. I mean, you got to surround yourself with people who can hear that sort of thing. Otherwise, the IKEA effect will affect your mix. Just because you did the mix, you will automatically seem to think that it's better than it actually is. So a way to counteract that is to get in an environment where people actually know what to listen for and what to tell you to do to make it better. And of course, you knew this was coming. I have a website called MixCoachMember that is perfect for this. We've got a forum, and every month we release a song, and all the guys get busy on it. I've seen guys finish the songs within a day and put them up on the forum, and then all of the guys on the forum who are counteracting the IKEA effect and the Betty Crocker effect, the origami effect, they're counteracting that by saying, I love the way your drums sound, but your bass is too loud, or your vocals are muddy, or whatever. So anyway, I'm not saying that you have to come to MixCoachMember, but I think it'd be a great move. But anyway, that's how to counteract the IKEA effect. Listen to some of your mixes and listen to them objectively and make sure that you're not a victim of the IKEA effect. Okay? This has been a Mix Coach Minute. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you like this sort of thing, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, don't do anything and I'll know. Don't thumb me down. Okay? So anyway, that's the Mix Coach Minute. Like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, and I will see you soon.